Welcome to this special recap edition of the Influential Personal Brand Podcast. We're breaking down the interview episode with our good friend, Jim Cumbee, and this was a different interview for us.
Yeah, it was awesome. And Jim is just such a wealth of knowledge. Truly one of the smartest people we know, truly.
Absolutely. And I think, if I had to boil the whole interview down to, one big takeaway from me, which would be the thing that I've always learned from Jim, was that it's really simple. Like, as an entrepreneur, whether you're a personal brand or you're building any real business, the ultimate objective is to build a business that operates without you.
Yeah.
And that
also it's kind of interesting because I think it's such a dichotomy of if it's a business worth selling, then it's also a business worth keeping. And if you can keep a business without it needing you, why would you ever sell it?
Yeah, I mean, that's how valuation basically works, right? By the way, I just want to make a shameless plug that if you loved that conversation and the topics of that conversation, you should come to our event that's called 8-Figure Entrepreneur, because the whole event is about that kind of thing, buying evaluating your company. But what were some of your big takeaways?
Yeah. So I think this is for everyone. I think for a lot of you listening, you have a personal brand, but then you also have another company, right? A personal brand and everything you do within that, courses and speaking and coaching and consulting. They also lead into something else that you may do. And this is both for those with a personal brand and those without a personal brand. But I think and it's kind of to what you said, one of the big questions you have to ask yourself is, can the business continue without me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just a great question, a great gut check for those of you who are going like, can my business continue without me? And if the answer is no, it's probably not very sellable.
Yeah. And I think, so what was interesting for me as a personal brand and someone who thinks in that framework, so that was a takeaway, which is something that I always get when I talk to Jim. And then I think my second kind of big takeaway was I've always kind of thought, okay, well, if you're a personal brand, like if your business is built around a personal brand, this is a struggle that is really unique to you, like because you're the personality and you're the face or whatever. And then Jim said, every founder struggles with this problem. And so it's not actually a problem that is specific to personal brands. It's specific to every small business, which is that if you take out the owner or the founder or the original person, like the whole thing starts to break down.
Yeah.
And so that was enlightening in a weird way to go, oh, well, it's not just us and our clients and, that are personal brand people. So it's everybody.
Just can the business continue without you? Right. And I think that's for any business. My second one was around this concept of recurring revenue and just the simple fact that, we talk a lot about this at Brain Builders Group and an acronym that we call DARES, which is how many of these can you check, right? Can you make your business digital, automated, recurring,
Ding, ding.
evergreen, and scalable, right? And this is all about this recurring component, which is just by the pure fact of how businesses are sold and purchased, that a recurring business will typically sell for more because it's less risky.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just great for all of you who are trying to figure out your business model. Like, do I do a course or do I do a membership program where they pay monthly? And then you've got to ask yourself, do I think I would ever sell this one day? And I think having that long-term perspective will help you make those short-term decisions of going. Typically, recurring businesses will sell for more and are more likely to sell because they are less risky. I think that was just a great aha and good takeaway for anyone who thinks maybe one day I'd like to sell this.
Yeah. And I would say on the note of the recurring revenue, if it's less risky to someone else, it's probably also less risky to you, right? So there's some real value to that recurring revenue model. At the same time, you got to sort of ask yourself, all right, do I think people would only stay, let's say it's $100 a month, if they're only going to stay 3 months on average, it's like, well, if I sold it as $1,000 course, I might be able to get $1,000 versus, $100 a month for 3 months. And those are all the kind of questions you got to answer. And it's not like there's a right answer. There's only a right answer for you. There's a right answer for your team.
Well, it's also leveraging that question with a question of, do I want to sell or do I want to keep this as a lifestyle business? Because I think those are also two very very important distinctions.
And that was my third takeaway, which was you don't have to build a company to sell it, right?
Right.
Like you could just build it to operate exactly like you said is a business worth selling looks a whole lot like a business worth keeping. If you can get that thing running on autopilot and it's fun and it's not burning you out, you don't hate it, that it's like,
On most days,
why,
yeah.
yeah, at least on most days, why would you sell it? Why not do it? And I think that was super powerful. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be the person who does an IPO or like sells your company for a ton of money so you can fly a private jet to be successful. It's like, it pays your bills, you have fun, you make a difference, and you make some money along the way. What a great thing to aspire to build.
Yep. My third one was not that. My third one was completely opposite, which is, I think this was a great aha for, again, to me, I have never built our business in the mode of one day we'll sell it.
Yeah.
Right. So some of this is just like really great, more for purchasing and acquisition, not for selling. And I think that's something too, for all of you who are listening. It's not just whatever, sell my business, but what is the thought process that I would want to go through if I was to purchase or acquire someone else's business?
That's a great thought.
And that was how I process interview, because I don't ever foresee selling this business, but I do foresee potentially growing it, expanding it through acquisitions and mergers and buying other businesses. So you can also filter this through that lens.
Totally.
And one of the things that caught my eye as I was watching this and listening to it was this whole concept of not that you would tell somebody this per se on the buyer side, but sometimes it's not the product or the services that you're buying, it's just the contact base. And if you have, so some of you are going, okay, well, I don't like, what program or subscription or course would I ever have that would be worth selling? That's not it for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you, it's because you're going to build an enormous list that somebody else will want access to. And that has to do with an enormous list that has a proven track record of success. And people will be likely to buy that for the same reason as they would your recurring business model or anything else. So I think that was just don't discount the power of just contacts.
Yeah.
Right. Instagram back in the day sold for $1 billion to Facebook before $1 of revenue was generated. They were buying access to contacts. You can do the same thing.
Love that. Yeah. I mean, it's like these days, instead of buying a real estate building, you might just be buying a database of emails and contacts. So listen to the interview. It's not every day you get to talk to a Harvard MBA about buying and selling companies. Go check it out. Stay encouraged, stay focused. We're playing the long game always at Brand Builders Group, and we're happy to be alongside of you. Thanks for being here. We'll catch you next time.